Hello once again, everybody. Uh, Everyone who, I don't know, found this video somehow. If it's Dueling Network or YouTube. I don't know. Thanks for watching. Uh, Good night, everybody. That's it. No. Sorry. But anyway, so welcome to another Dragonfly deck review. My name is Dan, Dragonfly9078. And last time I did a Sanctuary in the Sky deck, fairy deck, with some warriors thrown in. So this time I'm going to do just the opposite. I'm going to do a Pandemonium deck, an Archfiend deck. Yeah. Most of them are going to be the chess Archfiends, if you know what those are, and if you don't, that's fine. I'm gonna go through them. So yeah, let's get into it. Archfiend General is a pretty good card. I actually really like it. It's a level 4 Dark Fiend. I think all of these are fiends, but not all of them are dark. So yeah. So it's level 4. It's 2100 attack, 800 defense. It is a field searcher. You can discard it to grab the field spell, Pandemonium, from your deck. If Pandemonium is not on the field when Archfiend General is, then Archfiend General is destroyed. So if you watch my last video, it's exactly like what's his name? Zeratius, the Herald of Heaven. It's exactly like Captain Gold if you play Elemental Heroes. I think. I don't actually play Elemental Heroes, so I think that's what Captain Gold does, except with like Skyscraper. But yeah. Good card. Archfiend of Gilfer is a level 6 Dark Fiend, 2200 attack, 2500 defense. When he's sent to the graveyard, he can be equipped to a monster on the field, and that monster loses 500 attack. And this is good because he is a level 6, so he can be like annoying to summon sometimes, but he doesn't have to be on the field when he's sent to the graveyard. He can be discarded with like Trance Archfiend or whatever other card. I don't know what else I have that lets me discard. Maybe no, that's from the field. I'm sure there's something, or maybe there's not. But anyway, point is, it's a useful card. Yeah. Oh, and if he's what's it called? If he's an XYZ material, it does not say he has to be sent from the field to the graveyard. So if you detach him as an XYZ material, then he does that does activate his effect. Although I don't actually have any rank 6 XYZs, maybe I should fix that. Dark Necrofear is a level 8 Dark Fiend, 2200 attack, 2800 defense. Can only be special summoned, and can only be special summoned by banishing 3 fiends from your graveyard. I do have plenty of fiends, so that is generally not a problem. If it is destroyed by an opponent's card, battle, or card effect, then during the end phase of that turn, it can equip to a monster your opponent controls, and you get control of that monster. Yeah. So, it takes control of your opponent's monster. Quite likely the one that destroyed it. This does not loop. It only works if it was destroyed while it was a monster card, so you can't just like have an infinite Dark Necrofear thing, I guess. But it's definitely a useful card, and it's a great wall because it is a special summon for 2800 defense. But yeah, and it's a decent attacker, especially since, as this is an all-one type deck, I am using Solidarity. That bumps it up to 3000 and 2800. So definitely good. Dark Ruler Hades. It's another level 6 Dark Fiend, 2450 attack, 1600 defense. Negates the effects of monsters destroyed by your Fiend monsters in battle. So definitely good against flip effect monsters. Good against Raikou, good against some of the Chaos Dragons, Eclipse Wyvern, I think. Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty much it. The first chess Archfiend we have is the Dark Bishop Archfiend, which coincidentally is the only one I actually have in real life. Like, this is the only one that I actually have the actual physical card of. Okay, so all the chess Archfiends, you have to pay life points to keep them on the field every turn. And it's actually not optional. So you can't just say, oh, I refuse to pay life points, this card goes to the graveyard. No, you actually do have to pay them. And they all have a weird little effect where if they are targeted by a card effect, your opponent's card effect, you can roll a die, a 6-sided die once, and if it gets a certain result, then that effect is negated and the card is destroyed. The whatever card was targeting it, not the monster card. And generally it's like there's a couple that you have to get one of like one. You have to get one specific result, or there's a couple that you have to get like one of two specific results, and there's a couple where you have to get one of three, which are generally the best ones. This one is one of the one of three ones. It is you have to get 1, 3, or 6, but Dark Bishop Archfiend is actually kind of special because he can activate that effect for any Archfiend monster you control. Doesn't have to be himself. I think all the other chess Archfiends, because they're the only ones who get the effect, I think. All the other ones can only do it for themselves. But Dark Bishop Archfiend protects everybody. And that's his, like, extra effect thing that makes him worthwhile. All of them have some kind of effect. This guy's the only one who just has like an extension of his normal effect. He is a water monster, level 3, 300 attack, 1400 defense. So definitely not a great card, but you know, why not? Where's my mouse? Yeah, okay. So Desu Rook Archfiend, is the second of our chess ones, easily identifiable by the chessboard in the background, and by the chess piece in the name. So Desu Rook is a level 3 light fiend, 1100 attack, 1800 defense. Sorry, not 800. Pay 500 life points. Dark Bishop was also 500 during each of your standby phases. When he's targeted, you have to get a 3 to negate. If a Terror King Archfiend, which we have not gotten to yet, but if a Terror King Archfiend on your side of the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, not banished, so if like macro or dimensional fissures on the field doesn't work, you can send Desu Rook Archfiend from your hand to the graveyard to special summon the Terror King Archfiend that was destroyed. So yeah, so it basically revives a more powerful monster. It's good insurance for your Terror King Archfiend. I am never going to be able to pronounce this. It's an Earthbound Immortal monster. Kapak Apu, I guess. Don't get super mad if that's not how you pronounce it. And I totally just realized his head looks like a great ball from Pokemon. But he's an Earthbound Immortal. If you don't know what those are, very strong monsters. He is level 10. Is he really? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, he's level 10. Okay. Dark Fiend. He is a fiend. That's why he's in here. Earthbound Immortals require there to be a field spell on the card, just like Malefic cards. If there's no field spell, if there's no face-up field spell, then he's destroyed. Can't be selected as an attack target. It can attack directly, and it has 3,000 and 2,500. And if he destroys an opponent's monster by battle, the opponent takes damage equal to that monster's attack. So you can, if they're trying to defend against him by, I guess, putting him in defense mode, or putting their monsters in defense mode, although he can attack directly, so there's not really much use to that. He can just destroy them and still inflict damage. Yeah. Goblin King is a level 1 fiend with Dark Fiend with 0 attack and defense. While you have another fiend type monster, he can't be attacked. And his attack and defense are equal to the number of fiend monsters on the field times 1,000, except for himself. So if you have a full field and he's one of them, 4,000 attack. He does also count the fiends on your opponent's side of the field, so he can get up to, with his own effect, he can get up to a maximum of, I think, 9,000. Yes. He cannot go over 9,000 with his own effect. I'm sorry. It's early. I haven't had breakfast yet, so I'm speaking in memes. So yeah, good card, especially since he can't be attacked while you have another fiend. Yeah. Our next chess piece is Infernal Queen Archfiend. She is Fire, level 4, 900 attack, 1,500 defense. But that actually is kind of a deceptive number because of her effect. She still pays 500 life points during each standby phase, each of your standby phases, that is. The controller of Infernal Queen. To negate, she has to roll a 2 or a 5. But her other effect, activates during every standby phase, yours and your opponent's. She increases the attack of one Archfiend monster, not even that you control, just on the field, by 1,000 points until the end phase. So if she's the only one, then at the beginning of each of your turns, she gets 1,000 attack until the end. I probably said that wrong. At the beginning of every turn, she gets 1,000 attack until the end of the turn. So the only times she does not have 1,900 attack are like during the end phase and during the next person's draw phase. Or, of course, if you have another Archfiend that you want to power up, because she can power herself up to be a decently strong monster for a level 4 monster, she can also power up your other monsters too. So definitely a useful thing. And she does have one of the higher chances of negating effects that are on her. Mist Archfiend is a level 5 Dark Fiend, 2,400 attack, 0 defense. It can be normal summoned without tributing a monster. But if it is, then during the end phase, it's destroyed and you take 1,000 damage. That's generally a bad thing, your monster being destroyed and you taking damage. But it actually does work in some instances. This is a very, shall we say, high risk, high reward deck. You'll probably be losing a lot of life points in this deck, even if you win. But Pandemonium has an effect that activates when Archfiends are destroyed by a card effect, and Mist Archfiend fits with it. It also like depends on what their level is, and as a level 5 monster, Mist Archfiend is advantaged in that. But I'll go into that a bit later. Um, Another one of our, actually probably our last non-Archfiend monster, Phantom Lord Hydra, as a level 3 Dark Fiend tuner. He is the tuner I am using for this. 1500 attack, 300 defense. Yeah, I mean he's a tuner. He If all you have on the field is 2 of him, then you can treat one of them as a non-tuner monster for a synchro. Although, do I have any level 6s? Uh, doesn't look like it. So I don't have any level 6 synchros, so that won't really matter much. But yeah. Shadow Knight Archfiend is a level 4 Wind Fiend. Um, he pays 2,000 attack, 1,600 defense, so definitely a strong monster. He pays 900 life points during each standby phase. When he's targeted by an effect, you have to roll a 3 to negate, so that's definitely one of the lower chances. And his battle damage that he inflicts to the opponent is cut in half. So, not a great card, because, he has a high cost, he doesn't have a great negation chance, and his battle damage is halved. But he is a strong card, so he can be used for, like, getting rid of stuff that is in your way. You just have to accept that the battle damage is going to be halved, but if you're just clearing out defensive walls, it doesn't matter anyway. And at least he still has some negation chance. And with Pandemonium, the cost really doesn't matter much. Skull Archfiend of Lightning is not a chess Archfiend. It basically summons Skull and stats: 2,500 attack, 1,200 defense, level 6 Dark Fiend. Pay 500 life points during your standby phases. He does have a negation effect, so I was wrong. It's not just chess Archfiends, and his is 1, 3, or 6, but he doesn't have an additional effect, so he's just a strong monster with that negation effect and a cost. He is level 6, so I'm really beginning to think I should put rank 6 XYZs in here. I'll look for some of those while I'm talking. Terror King Archfiend. I would say it's the boss of the deck, but it's not the boss of the deck. It's the boss of the chess Archfiends. Definitely not the boss of the Archfiends, but yeah, he can't be normal or flip summoned unless you already have an Archfiend on your side of the field. So he can be special summoned, like with Desu Rook's effect. He can be flipped face up due to an attack. He just can't be normal summoned or flip summoned. Dark, level 4, 2,000 attack, 1,500 defense. His cost is 800 per standby phase. Negation chances are 2 and 5, so pretty good chance to negate. And his effect is just like Hades's, except just for himself. He negates the effect of a monster that he destroys by battle. Yeah. Trance Archfiend. You can discard a Fiend-type monster, like Archfiend of Gilfer, to activate his effect, and then Trance Archfiend gains 500 attack until the end phase. When he's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can grab one of your banished dark monsters from your banished zone. I always do that. You can grab one of your banished dark monsters and put him in your hand. Yes, that is what I meant to say. Um, so pretty good. Level 4, 1500 attack, 500 defense. Dark Fiend. Good for recovering things from Necrofear, or probably something else that I can't think of right now. Or if your opponent banishes one. Uh, yeah, and he is an Archfiend. Vile Pawn Archfiend is our last monster and our last of the chess Archfiends. He 1200 attack, 200 defense, level 2 Earth Fiend. The chess Archfiends, there's one for each attribute. There's water, light, fire, wind, dark, and now earth. His cost is 500. His negation chance is just roll 3. And if he's the only monster, sorry, if he is on the field, your opponent can't attack Archfiends except for him. Unfortunately, it is not like Marauding Captain. You cannot make a lock because they can only attack Vile Pawn Archfiend, not this card specifically. So if you have 2 Vile Pawn Archfiends, they can attack either one. A bit unfortunate, but that's how the wording of the card goes. So spells and traps are just general Fiend and actually mostly just Archfiend support. Checkmate, tribute an Archfiend from your side of the field, and then a Terror King Archfiend you control can attack your opponent's life points directly. Falling down is destroyed if there's no Archfiend monster on your Archfiend card, on your side of the field. But yeah, it takes control of an opponent's monster, and then you take 800 points of damage during each of your opponent's standby phases. It is an equip card, so yeah, it's a good card. It lets you take control of an opponent's monster. There's no real way around it. That's what it does. Pandemonium, the field card, one of the central cards of the deck. Neither player pays life points for Archfiend monsters while Pandemonium is on the field. This is incredibly important for Archfiend cards because without this, you're pretty much, they're very difficult to use because the cost is really prohibitive. And then when an Archfiend is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, except by battle, has to be by a card effect. The player, who I think it's whoever's graveyard it was sent to, can search their deck for an Archfiend that is of a lower level than the one that was destroyed and add it to their hand during the end phase. No, actually, it's not during the end phase. It's each time a player's Archfiend monster is destroyed. I was thinking the end phase because it works well with Mist Archfiend, because he destroys himself during the end phase, and he is a level 5, so you can grab really most Archfiends in this deck, except for, I think, Archfiend of Gilfer. And Archfiend of Gilfer lets you grab any of them. Oh, and except for Skull Archfiend of Lightning. And they can't get each other because they're both level 6, but whatever. The point is, they can get more fiends for you, more Archfiends. And Archfiend of Gilfer is especially good because he comes back onto the field as an equip card when he's sent to the graveyard, so you can potentially use him twice with Pandemonium's effect. So yeah, definitely a central card of this deck is Pandemonium. Solidarity, know it, you love it. 800 boost to all monsters of the same type as the ones in your graveyard. If they're all fiends, they all get 800. All your fiends get 800 points. Good for Archfiends because they're generally, they're generally on the weaker side. it does bump your Vile Pawns up to 2,000, which is good when they're the only things that can be attacked, and and puts Terror King and Shadow Knight both at 2,800. Definitely good with the Checkmate card, so you can hit 2,800 directly with their life points. I'm using 2 Terraformings in addition to the 2 Archfiend Generals because it is incredibly important to get Pandemonium into your hand and on the field. So important that I can't believe I don't have 3 of them in here. Oh, I have one in my side deck. Okay. It was not letting me. I didn't realize I had another one in my side deck. Yeah. So now I have 3. Plus 2 Terraformings and 2 Archfiend Generals. So that'll probably lead to dead draws once I draw a couple Terraformings. I'll draw I swear, one hand I'm gonna draw all 3 Pandemoniums and both Terraformings. That's gonna be my opening hand. I've actually had that happen where in a different deck where I drew all my field cards and Terraforming in my opening hand. It was ridiculous. But yeah, so Puppet Magic of Dark Ruler also actually works with Trance Archfiend, second effect. You pick a fiend in your graveyard, remove monsters on your side of the field from play whose total levels exactly equal the selected fiend monster, and then you special summon it. Can also be good with Dark Necrofear and Falling Down, so you can use your opponent's monsters for it instead of your own. Yeah. Archfiends Roar. You have to pay 500 life points to activate it, and unfortunately that cost is not stopped by Pandemonium, because that only stops the cost for Archfiend monsters. You special summon an Archfiend from your graveyard. That's pretty much it. That monster can't be tributed, unfortunately, so that is a bit of a downside to it. And it is destroyed during the end phase of the turn that Archfiend Roar is activated. But I mean that works with Pandemonium. Works with Pandemonium's second effect. Yeah. Battle Scarred, continuous trap card. You pick an Archfiend on your side of the field, and then your opponent pays the same life points that you pay for that monster. I don't use this card that often because I'm generally pretty good about getting Pandemonium out, but it's a good backup if Pandemonium's destroyed. You can start draining their life points away. Unfortunately, if Battle Scarred is destroyed, the selected Archfiend is also destroyed, so it does make that Archfiend a lot more vulnerable. So you'd probably want to use it on Shadow Knight or something, because it has a high cost, and well, actually it's a useful card, so maybe Vile Pawn. And if the monster is actually, it's just if Battle Scarred is removed from the field, the monster is destroyed. And when the monster is removed from the field, Battle Scarred is destroyed. That kind of thing. Dark Bribe, pretty evident. Mirror Force, Ultimate Offering, Hate Buster. Fiend support card only activates when a face-up fiend you control is attacked. Destroy the attacking monster, and actually you destroy both of them, the attack target and the attacking monster, which does trigger Pandemonium. And then your opponent takes damage equal to the original attack of the attacking monster. So both monsters are destroyed, you get a monster, and they take damage. Unless, of course, it was Vile Pawn, in which case you don't have a lower Archfiend. But if it was I don't know, Terror King, then you could grab Dark Bishop, Desu Rook, Vile Pawn. Yeah. Life-Absorbing Machine, I also actually don't see a lot of use out of because I'm generally good about getting Pandemonium onto the field. Um, During your standby phase, you get life points equal to half the life points you paid during your last turn. I do have 2 of them, so if I have both on the field, then I can pretty much ignore the costs of the Archfiends. It also works with Archfiends Roar. Does not work with falling down because that's a it's not cost. It's just you take damage. You take 800 damage. But yeah, so if Pandemonium is destroyed, if all of them are destroyed, then Life-Absorbing Machine can keep you alive, especially especially if Battle Scarred is on the field, because then you pay the life points, and your opponent also pays the life points. You just get them back. And wow, I did not realize I've been talking for so long. This video is already half an hour long. So I'll just finish up the extra deck real quick. Side deck is just general Fiend cards. I do have Warrior of Zera in here, like I did in my Sanctuary in the Sky deck, because he has like this whole story going on where he can either become an Archlord or a demon. Masseria that card, Masseria Deville. Masseria Deville. Whatever. Yes. So, anyway, I'm sorry. I'm not really on track today. Uh, yeah, he's just in there because it's a Pandemonium card, and I think I made this about the same time as the Sanctuary in the Sky deck. I was on a big Warrior of Zera kick. I have no idea why. Um, anyway, so synchro cards are just like you know cards, I guess. Fiends, dragons, archfiends. Uh, Red Dragon Archfiend is an Archfiend. Um, so that's why he's in here. Why do I have this? Do I actually have any level 5s? I've missed Archfiend. That's the only level 5 I have in this deck. Um, oh, I know why, because I used to have Emissary from Pandemonium. Um, yeah, that was the tuner I used to use. But I didn't like him, so I don't know, just general fiends in the mostly the Jin, however you pronounce it, Jin, whatever. Steel Swarm Roach, yeah. So that's pretty much it. Sorry to have wasted 33 minutes of your time with my talking. Uh, oh, another Pandemonium support card. It's not in there just because, well, just because of solidarity, I guess. Pandemonium Watchbear, level 4 Dark Beast 1300 and 1800, and while it's face up on your side of the field, Pandemonium can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So it's very good protection for Pandemonium, and really it's probably only not in here because I'm using Solidarity. If I ever need to side it out, that's probably what I'll switch out. But yeah, so thanks for listening to me talk. Hope you enjoyed the video. Chess Archfiends, I don't see them often. I definitely don't see them. Actually, I'm not sure I've ever seen them besides the ones I use. But I think they're fun. They're definitely like I said, a high risk, high reward type of deck. And yeah, if you see me on DN, pop in, say hi, and I'll try to talk back, I guess. Uh, yeah. So thanks for watching. Uh, See you next time.